Welcome back to my F1 Championship Edition career mode, round number 5 at the European Grand Prix, the Nürburgring GP circuit. If you watch the opening races of this season, we've been on a downwards decline ever since the first race in Bahrain, and we hit an all-time low in Imola last time out. But the European Grand Prix is a track that you can actually compete with the AI, you can actually do something. I'm not going to get absolutely rolled over, metaphorically or literally. So let's see if we can really gain some credibility this time around and hope that Helmut Marko doesn't kill us. Just as a precaution, I'm going to apply for a Toyota drive. We're probably not going to get it because our form's been absolutely diabolical, but you might as well apply. What's the worst? The worst they could say is no. Immediately into qualifying, I'll be honest, it was just nice to drive a track that I wasn't scared of dying every single corner. The curbs were arguably quite forgiving. There were some corners that were a bit tense, but it wasn't like Imola where I was just hating every single second. Pretty much immediately I felt comfortable and just safe, and I was enjoying driving on this game, which is a feeling I've not had for several races now. Admittedly, we had to go through the absolutely horrific Sector 1 of this circuit, but other than that, once we got through it, it was just a very pleasant experience. I was having a great time. I could just go through any corner without fears that I was going to lose the car, other than the times that I was losing the car. But regardless, I was still having a great time. Jumping to the end of Q1, we haven't actually put a competitive lap time in, we're currently last, and we've also damaged our front wing. I probably did that in a very embarrassing way, hence why I've not included it, but coming through the final corner now for what will be our second last run, assuming we don't mess up the final lap. Coming up to the line, we're going to improve, we're going to go up to P16, which isn't at all safe whatsoever, because it's right on the bubble, and we're going to have to go again if we want to guarantee that we're safe, because we've immediately been knocked out by Mark Webber. As we saw from Malaysia, myself and Mark have a phenomenal relationship that could rival Multi21. Jump to the end of my final lap has admittedly not gone well. We're slower in the first sector, we're 7/10 slower in the second sector, and we're going to have to absolutely abuse this chicane if we want to get through to Q2. Admittedly, I was expecting an absolutely disgusting cut, but we get through it without any issue, and come into the final corner, it's looking like it's not going to be enough to get through to Q2. It's not really been an aggressive third sector, but it looks like it didn't have to be. We improved by just a tenth in the third sector and go up to P14, just getting through to Q2 at the final ask. In the moment, I was unsure how I managed that, but over the course of the race weekend, I realised that AI are absolutely shocking at that final chicane. So even though I was miles behind in the rest of the lap, and I wasn't actually that aggressive through the chicane, because of just how slow they were, I was able to make up the time. So we get through in P14 with a rather unconvincing lap, but in terms of who we needed to beat, Webber, Liuzzi and of course Yuji Ide, we've absolutely battered them. So I immediately went out in Q2 because clearly I needed the practice. You join me on my first run now. I can't really tell you how good it is compared to my Q1 time because I haven't got any sector times, and also I didn't pay attention to the sector times. So we're just going to have to see what happens at the end of this lap. Coming through the chicane once again, we're a lot more aggressive than in Q1. Given how much time we gained in our last lap, that should gain us at least 4 seconds on the AI. Coming through the final corner now, up to the line, and we've gone a hell of a lot faster, 128.7. A 130.4 put us P14 in Q1, so a 128.7. That might actually see us through to Q3. And as soon as I returned to the garage, I was sitting P1. I don't know how I found that turn of form, but I'd seen enough. I was going to retire from Q2 immediately, and we're through to Q3 in remarkably comfortable fashion. And on top of that is Fisichella in the fastest car, the Renault, who we knock out in Q2. My Q1 time would have been enough to get through to Q3.
Giancarlo, this cannot be possible. You've got the same fuel load. I know you've got some understeer, but you cannot be 2 seconds slower.
So as usual, Q3 was a little bit of a bore fest. It's all about burning fuel for the most part. You join us on our final lap now. We've already put a lap time in that's put us P7, which is pretty respectable given we're on high fuel. We're trying to push on our final lap, but in the opening sector at least, it's not really worked out. I think we're a 10th down as we cross into Sector 2. Really, it's all going to come down to that final chicane and how much time we can make up, because as we know throughout this season, this car is not great in a straight line, mainly thanks to the setups I've been choosing. Hopefully in the future I actually try and mend that. We absolutely throw the car into turn number 11, trying to make up that time, in the second sector, and as we come into sector 3 now, we're level with our fastest lap time, but we've still not really improved. We're going to have to absolutely cut. It's going to have to be a disgusting chicane if we're going to improve this time. We tried an absolutely disgusting cut, and the game rightfully said, absolutely fucking not, and throws us into the barrier. That is the end of our qualifying, but still, it's a respectable P7. Michael Schumacher takes a home pole position ahead of rival Fernando Alonso on the front row. And we'll be starting P7 behind Kimi Raikkonen, 3/10 off the next car. I don't think I was fine that time. I think P7 was the best I was going to qualify today, so I'm pretty happy with that result. I can't wait to lose it immediately into turn 1. Okay, on the grid for the European Grand Prix, we desperately need a good... In fact, no, we don't even need a good result. We just need to finish the race. If we can finish high up, fantastic, but we just want to finish the race. Lights out, and away we go. It's going to be a decent start because of the traction compared to the AI. Not quite as obvious this high up on the grid. It looks like we're going to hold on to P7 before getting alongside Barrichello into the first corner. We think about sending it on the McLaren, but honestly, I thought I was going to go into the back of him. We rightfully back out of that one. P6 as we come through turn number 2. We're going to look at the inside of the McLaren for the second time into turn number 3. This time we're going to get the move. We're going to be side by side. He's going to have the inside line for turn number 4, and we're going to have to battle on traction. Not able to get it, obviously, because it's a Mercedes-powered engine, and in this Toro Rosso we don't stand a fucking chance against that. But it's been a clean first sector. We've held on to our race position. We actually get a cutback on Raikkonen through turn number 7, and this time we do have the power to get past him. Up into P5, how long will that last? Probably not for long at all, but up into P5, a strong start for us. It's a nice change. Now we eagerly await the moment where I spin and lose all progress. Heading on to the back straight, Raikkonen actually fell behind Jenson Button, so if you come towards the chicane, we're going to be challenged by the Honda into the braking zone, or at least you think I'd be challenged into the braking zone. You'll see just how bad the AI are through that chicane as we get right into the back of Montoya and actually have a think about setting up the inside of the final corner, and at the end of the first lap we're going to be up into a remarkable P4. And it's at this moment I'd just like to thank the developers of this game for making the AI so horrifically bad at that chicane, because my god does it make for an incredibly fun experience. It's just nice having those corners where you're just so OP compared to the AI, because so often the AI is so OP compared to you. Montoya did have a look at me through the first sector, but we were able to defend against the McLaren. By the look of it, we don't really have the pace to challenge for the podium spots. We're going to have to hope for a little bit of luck, and luck is not going to come my way. I don't deserve any luck, because that was... What was that? That was just... I don't even have an excuse for that. I just turned in too early. Like, horrifically early at a corner. You don't even need to turn in early. We pick up a penalty, deservedly so this time, and we drop down to P6. Heading on to lap number 3, our attention turns to the second Honda of Jenson Button. Now, we have the OP corners on this track, but we very much have the dangerous corners, and it's turn number 1, because into the braking zone, we get rear-ended by the Honda. Jenson Button doesn't give a fuck, he drives off without a care in the world, and now we're under pressure from Heimfeld and Raikkonen, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Renault at some point there. I think it's probably Fisichella. We are going to fend off Heimfeld for P7, but it's always the issue of this game. You can't ever just get comfortable, because you never know when AI is just going to rear-end you. It's genuinely a terrifying experience, when, especially when you know the corners they do it, because you can't really do anything. You just kind of have to just pray that they're not close enough. So with that fear unlocked, let's just start praying that we're not near anyone into turn 1 ever again. Luckily for me though, there is a certain corner that I've come to like on this track that's fairly close to turn number 1 that I can open the gap up to the AI. Nearing the end of lap number 3, we're coming to our favourite corner on the track. We've opened the gap up a little bit to Heimfeld, never mind, we've spun it out our favourite corner. We've picked up another penalty. It's not going to cost us too much because we're going to have to wait for the cars to come back on track. We've rejoined very safely, I will say, a very safe rejoin on my part. We've rejoined P13, added the points, and you'll probably judge me for that spin. I'm not ashamed to admit that it was very much fueled by fear of that turn 1. I really wanted to open the gap up compared to the AI, and I knew that corner obviously is where I had to do it. So I tried a little too much, and I paid the price.
Has he got what it takes to win championships? Are you convinced?
No,
Lap number 5, we find ourselves behind David Coulthard in the Red Bull. Is this a battle to be the top Red Bull car? I think it might be. Out of turn number 8, heading down towards Schumacher corner, we're going to try and get in the slipstream of the Red Bull and close up for the back straight, or more specifically for that chicane, because as we know, straight line speed is not this car's strength. The corners, however, seems to be pretty good. We get on the outside of Coulthard and we get into a drag race down the back straight. We get ahead of him before sector 3, and because we're heading down towards the chicane, we don't have to fear that he's going to dive me and take me out. I can actually, you know, make an overtake on a car and just relax. It's such a refreshing feeling, just not being scared. You're not going to believe this, but racing cars that I could actually race and compete with did a lot for my morale. You know, we're now on the back of Villeneuve. We do have horrible memories of Heimfeld, but you know, it's Jacques Villeneuve in the 2000s. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. We don't have him in the straight, but you'll see into the chicane just how bad the AI are. We've got him on the exit of the chicane. We're side by side into the final corner, inside line. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to make that move. Yeah. Well, we're coming down the pit straight now. We're going to get him to turn 1, I'm sure. We're going to pull an AI. We're just going to rear end him. We're just going to... We're not even going to send it. Why did I cut the corner there? What's wrong with me? Come on. I've been overtaken by... Cool. This is... I genuinely went into this clip expecting an overtake on Villeneuve.
Have you ever been wrong about a driver?
No.
We're nearing the end of the first stint now. Cars are starting to come into the pit. We're right on the back of Coulthard for the second time, and at the end of the lap he's going to pull into the pit, give us a free position, and we're actually going to stay out for as many laps as we can. I think an additional lap compared to our pit window, just to use the lack of fuel in this car. We obviously have pace on this circuit, so we want to use it in clear air. We'll see if we can jump the Red Bull in the pits, especially with our fast pit stops. Despite how many mistakes we've made this race, we're still on for a potential top 10 finish if things go our way. Less than a lap later, things aren't going our way because the worn tyres were getting to us. We turn in for the corner and once again we get a corner cut penalty, but we get a smaller penalty. Things are going our way. I don't understand how that's a smaller penalty than the last one, but you know what? I'm not going to question this game's logic. We've been given a little bit of mercy there. At the end of lap number 9, we're going to come in for our pit stop. With the fast pit stops that we're able to achieve, assuming we don't mess up, we still have a chance, despite the penalty, of jumping Coulthard. 1, because we set an extra lap. 2, because we had a small penalty. 3, because we're just that incredible. Into the pit we go. We're praying we don't make a mistake. Why would I make a mistake? I'm just outstanding at these pit stops. It's the one thing I'm confident in consistently. A 7.3 second pit stop. Out of the pit we come. Where is David Coulthard? He's behind us in P14 quite comfortably. We're ahead of the Red Bull. I'm pretty sure with the lead, we're not the lead Red Bull, there's clean ahead. We're almost the lead Red Bull. A lap later that P12 would become P11 as Ralf Schumacher will come into the pit for his pit stop. 1 position away from a top 10 finish. I don't think points are on the cards. I think we've bottled it just a little too much to wish for points. But we've already proven we have the pace of the Red Bulls. So the dizzying heights of a P9 are not out of the question just yet. Maybe after one more mistake they'll be out of the question, but for now it's still on the cards. 4 laps remaining and Klein has jumped Villeneuve, but has put Villeneuve in our sights, battling him for the final place in the top 10. It's not going to be points on this game, but a top 10 is what a lot of teams look for if you apply to join their team. So this could be an important move if we want a better car in the future. We're in the slipstream of the Sauber. We've hit something which completely ruins my momentum and distracts me. We were going to make a move on the Sauber into turn number 1, but Klein has just pulled over. I don't know if he's collided with someone. I don't think anyone's near him, but I was so confused in the moment that I had to immediately go and check what the hell had happened to him. So we join Klein coming out the final corner. There's absolutely no one near him. We know some bodywork fell off him, and that's because into turn number 1, his wing just comes off, which I can honestly say I have never seen before in this game ever. But you know, on the plus side, it's a free position, and we're now the lead Red Bull. Fuck you, helmet. You know, on reflection, that's a poor choice of words. So that leaves us with 3 laps to try and get P9 off this Sauber. Heinfeld, way too far ahead for us to actually catch him and overtake him. Villeneuve, we've got a chance. We no longer have a chance. We're going to try and just guarantee P10. We're going to very cheekily block Coulthard as we turn the car around. Let's just calm it down a bit and just consolidate this P10, I think. I'm happy with P10. And despite the worn tyres that the spins were causing, obviously, we are going to hold on to P10 despite my best efforts into the hairpin. Coulthard is right behind us, but we're past turn 1, so we know he's not going to dive me, or be able to dive me at least. As long as we get through this corner, we should be safe. We've got through this corner, we're safe. 1 straight and our favourite corner to go. All we need to do is not send it. There's absolutely no reason to send it into the chicane. We know that AI isn't going to send it on me. We just need to get through the corner. Then we've got 1 corner to go, which is the final corner. We've made it through the chicane. We've almost lost the car on the curb, but we've survived. It's going to be our best result since Bahrain. It's a P9 fit. It's a P10 finish. You ruined it. You absolutely fucking ruined it. God damn it. I'm leaving it in. So Fernando Alonso takes his first win of the season ahead of championship leader Felipe Massa, who gets a strong result in P2, with Schumacher, by the looks of it, retiring from the race, from pole position as well. We come home in a very respectable P10. Yes, I threw points away most likely, but honestly, I don't think I had the pace to hold on to P10, at least not without being rear-ended several times in turn number 1. I think I would have lost out regardless. I'm happy with the top 10 finish. And looking at the list of non-finishers, it's an absolute joy. Ide, Liuzzi, Schumacher, Klein, Webber. It's just an absolutely beautiful selection of drivers to retire from this race. Really, it's just missing Jenson Button after he took me out into turn 1, the bastard. In drivers, Massa continues to open that gap up on the drivers that matter. Alonso being the only driver to close up to him after such a poor start to the season. Massa can kind of afford 2 points lost to him. We remain in P9 in the standings ahead of Trulli, Schumacher and crucially Christian Klein. Still holding on to that achievement of being the top Red Bull driver. And looking at the constructors, they're looking like a pretty easy fight for Ferrari at the top. Whilst Toro Rosso sits 6th, just 2 points behind Toyota in 5th. But 5 points ahead of Red Bull, just to point it out. And just before you guys go to the comments and say Marco's angry at me, we've been promoted to the first driver at Toro Rosso after that P10 finish. Realistically, it means absolutely nothing other than the fact we don't have to do team ability tests, and we've got a new teammate in Scott Speed. I just love the fact that Liuzzi last race got his first point of the season, and a race later he's been demoted. But honestly, it's the Red Bull program that's completely in character. Once again, incredibly coded game. But anyway, next up it's Spain, so I'm gonna go cry now.